kind of biased, right? So obviously we're going to tell you what we're going to tell you about our school. So we'd like to take the opportunity to also allow you the opportunity to hear from a current parent, that they can provide to you their own experiences and how they see things, and maybe even why they chose to come here as well. So I want to thank Ms. Lori for being here as well, and give her the floor and just kind of give her side of how she sees St. Bernard family here. So thank you so much for it.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lori Bienvenue, and I have 2 kids here. My oldest, Matthew, is in kindergarten. He's 5. Our middle child is 4. He's in pre-K. And in 2 school years, we'll have another little satyr here who will be joining pre-K. So if you're doing the math, we had 3 boys in less than 4 years. I call it the 4 years I was pregnant. But during that first year, you know, as a mom, you dream about what you want for your kids, and of course, education is always one of the big things. And I remember thinking from that I wanted him to come to a Catholic school. I wanted him to be in a small school. I wanted him to be in a place where there was consistency between our values at home and our school life. I didn't want our kids to have culture shock from going to a place that was so different from what we were teaching them at home. And so that was always a goal for us. And then Matt was born, and 2 days later we found out he had a bleeding disorder. And so we knew instantly that meant that he would need a lot of care, and health would be a big consideration for him for the long term. And so suddenly my mission to get him in a school where it was all about values was, wait a minute, we also need him in a place where I can have peace of mind that I'm going to send him to school every day. He's not going to get lost in the shuffle of 600 kids. People are going to care, and they're going to have a heart, and they're going to have compassion, and they're going to look out for our kid. And so St. Bernard seemed like a natural choice for us because we're Catholic, and so there's a Catholic school, and they're not too far, and so the convenience of being able to drop off our kid here, it just all kind of worked. And so we found a way to get our kids here, and once we got here, we realized that safety and peace of mind and consistency in values was definitely what we got, but we got so much more. The very first day we drove up at the bus port, and Mr. Masterson was out there, and Miss Tolliver and Miss Jamie and all of the school counselor was out there, and I thought, we never saw our school counselor unless somebody was in trouble, or the principal unless somebody was in trouble, you know? And so to see them out at the bus port getting kids out of the car, it was so exciting. And then day 2 rolls around and they're all still there, and then week 3 rolls around and they're all still there, and they get my kid out of the car and they know his name. And I thought, the school counselor knows my kid's name. The school principal knows my kid's name. You know, it was a really cool thing to see, you know, week after week. And that didn't phase out after the first week. They're all still there every day. And then the experiences started happening. So in October, we celebrate St. Francis' feast day, and they do blessing of the pets. And so our whole family loads up in the car, my husband, all 3 kids, the dog, we come through, the dog gets his blessing. My 4-year-old now, he was 3 then, talked about that for the entire year. Every day we drive through the car and he'd say, we brought our dog to get blessed, you know. And so everybody, Miss Jamie heard that for a whole year. But those things kept happening, you know. It was the blessing of the twos, and Matt talked about going out to the cemetery and putting flowers on the grave, and he was so excited about that. And then spring rolls around and the Stations of the Cross, and he comes home and he's talking about Veronica and Mary wiping Jesus' tears, and I'm thinking, this is amazing, you know. This is what I was hoping for my kids at school, and so the things that he was learning beyond just ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, because certainly that did happen. But it was such a wonderful thing for our family to be able to sit around the table every night and talk about all the things that he was learning. And then my other kids wanted to know about it. And then it was a whole conversation at dinner every night. And then he was telling us things, and I'm thinking, I don't know about this. I tell my husband, I'm like, where's that little kitty Bible? I gotta go read about this. I don't know anything about this. And they start, you know, he starts asking questions, and before you know it, your kid is turning you into a better version of you, you know, because it's just not okay for your 4-year-old to know more than you do about certain things. So we have to step it up a little bit. But it was great. You know, the things that he was coming home with really just and it was so much fun. And sometimes it was challenging. If you want to test your marriage, Pre-K does a Mardi Gras parade every year. Two parents trying to figure out how to anchor a Christmas tree because my kids decided he needed a Christmas-themed Mardi Gras float. So it has to be anchored down enough so it's not going to fall over, but not heavy enough that a 5-year-old can pull on it. Oh yeah, that'll test your marriage. And we survived. And that kid had the biggest smile on his face. And the whole family was involved, and now my 4-year-old wants a dinosaur on his float, so that'll be fun. But you know, it's those kind of things that it happens at school, but then it comes home with you, kind of like Mr. Masterson was saying. You know, those virtues that they talk about at school, it comes home with you. This is a place where your family life and your school life can really mesh. You don't have that battle that you see that I hear from so many of my friends whose kids go to other schools where they're trying to figure out how to make those line up, or they're looking for that consistency. We have that here, and it's really a great thing. They are fantastic about communication here. I didn't come to school here, my husband didn't come to school here. We had no idea what to expect, and we keep hearing things about, you know, dress days and mass days and activities and, you know, all these things, and the Mardi Gras parade, and we got to decorate this turkey, and all the activities, and your mind starts, you know, your head kind of starts spinning. But then every Tuesday, Miss Jamie sends out her wonderful, or is it Miss Danielle? Somebody sends out a whole list of emails.
I'll make it.
Yeah, there you go. It's a team effort. But you get this great email with everything you need to know for the week, and then your kids' teachers are sending home things with everything you need to know for the week. And there's never been a time, I've never had to go on Facebook and say, is St. Bernard having a free dress day today? I know you guys have seen those Facebook posts for other schools. They are fantastic about communication. I keep telling my husband, Mr. Masterson is going to send home an email one day that says, we had a false alarm, the alarm went off today, but it was a false alarm, don't worry. Because anything that happens at this school, they tell you. You know about it before your kids. You're not going to have to go on Facebook and ask, what happened at St. Bernard today? They communicate with you about those things. And as a parent, it's fantastic because it's that peace of mind. As far as Nat's concerned, we have had so much great care from the teachers here. They really do love they love our kids, and they care about our kids. When Nat came here, you know, we had meetings with the teacher, we had meetings with the school secretary / nurse to make sure everybody knew what to do to take care of them. And I told them, if anything comes up, call me. If you're not sure about something, call me. And they call me a lot. They call me a lot. Miss Michelle apologizes every time, and I tell her, don't apologize, I want to know. And she says, thank you, because it gives me peace of mind. But I never have to worry about my kids when they're here. I know they're safe. I know they're taken care of. It's a freeing thing, especially, you know, today. No mom wants to ever worry about their kids when they're at school, but I don't have to worry about that here. A couple of weeks ago, we were pulling up to the front of the car line, and my middle child said something ugly to his brother. Mr. Masterson was coming to get him out of the car, and he heard it. And so he heard me correcting my kid, and you know, moms you never want to separate from your kid at that point in the day where you're trying to correct them, and then you have to drive off and think the last thing I said to my son was, you know, don't be ugly to your brother. And so Mr. Masterson heard that, and he got Andre out of the car and kind of just put his arm around his shoulder and just took a moment to say, we're gonna have a good day today, right? And Andre just, you know, bounced off with a smile on his face. And I can't tell you how good that was for me, because it's the moment that you want. It's the moment that you want with your kid. And that's not just Mr. Masterson. I mean, I've seen Miss Tolliver welcome my kids onto campus. Just, you know, I'm so glad you're here. You've been sick. It's great. Miss Tolliver asked today, Mac's been out, and so she saw him and said, we miss you here. You know, where are you? We're ready for you to come back. They really do care about our students. And not just our kids, but they care about us too. It's almost a working relationship, you know. They're always making sure that our kids' needs are met. They're making sure that our needs are met as parents. If you have an issue, it's easy to get in touch with them. It's easy to talk to people about your
I did, the many emails we get would make it very easy to find the right person to talk to. So overall, it's been a great experience. Like I said, our kids are in kindergarten and pre-K. Actually both of my kids. Neither of them were in daycare, so we went from daycare straight into school. And I was worried about that because it's a huge transition. And it was a huge transition for my oldest. My middle child has no cares in the world. You couldn't tell that he ever even started his first day of school. But it was a bit of a rough ride for my oldest, and the teachers worked with it. You know, they worked with them through it, and they were gentle every morning. We got my screaming kid out the car, even though he was yelling, "Don't make me go, don't make me go." And by week 2, he loved school, and he was completely fine. He couldn't wait to get out of the car. But even that was probably our biggest issue here, and even that was fine because everyone just was kind and caring and patient.